Stardew Valley is a game about the serenity of work. But not just any work. Working with your hands, digging and tilling, splitting stone, planting, watering, weeding, and harvesting. It's about the pleasure of watching a tree grow from seed to sapling, of seeing raw materials transmuted into artisan goods. It's about realizing your place as a valued and productive member of a tight-knit community. In a word, Stardew Valley imparts a sense of belonging and also of telos, that is, of knowing your actions are meaningful because they press you ever onward towards the goal of expanding your farm. The game begins with your character leaving their soul-crushing job at Joja Corp and relocating to their grandfather's dilapidated farm in Stardew Valley. From here, the player must renovate the plot of land and make it productive again, while at the same time getting to know the members of the community and finding ways to make their enterprise more profitable. Hold on, who said anything about profits? Well, in Stardew Valley, virtually everything you farm, craft, or build gets thrown into this magic box here. Sometime during the night, Lewis, the mayor of the town, collects the contents of the box and deposits a tidy sum into your bank account. We never see what becomes of your goods. They're not sold at Pierre's local store or at the much-maligned Joja Mart. The townspeople only comment on our produce if we sell enough of it directly to Pierre, but there's no incentive for this. In fact, this interaction only confirms that the goods we leave out for Lewis are never enjoyed by the town. Once they're in the box, it is simply as though all that is solid melts into air, as Karl Marx put it. This brings us to Marx's theory of alienation, which describes how, under a capitalist mode of production, workers are estranged, distanced from what they produce, from other human beings, and even from their own nature. We can actually see this theory being deployed by the game itself. Your grandfather's dying wish is for you to escape the alienation of what he calls modern life. In other interactions, the game allows you to state why you became a farmer, and one of the options focuses on the apparent unreality of urban living. Here, the game is providing a meta-commentary on why you, the player, have also decided to make the move to Stardew Valley. And that's what I'd like to examine in this video. A huge part of the game's appeal is how it allows you to relax and casually produce goods and pursue meaningful relationships. I'm not here to tell you the game is problematic. I wouldn't be making a video about it if I didn't also love it. But I'm interested in what we can reveal when we take the game's economy seriously, and how it allows us to reflect on our own alienated condition under late modernity. Marx outlines 4 primary ways in which we experience alienation. The first of these is that we are alienated from what we produce. He writes that our labor is therefore not the satisfaction of a need, it is merely a means to satisfy needs external to it. This is what we observed earlier with the collection box. We have no idea what happens to our products when we sell them, and if someone is consuming them, we never witness it. Think about what you did with your first crop in the game, the lowly turnip. If you're anything like me, you didn't go to town and show them off, send one home to your mom, or even cook a hearty turnip dinner. Nope, straight into the box they go, in exchange for liquid capital, which itself will be put towards the purchase of more seeds. And what kind of black market deals is Lewis making that let him front the cash for 13 of these massive diamonds I dug up? All we know is that the box doesn't care, as long as you feed it. I noticed something curious after a patch added the Auto Grabber item to the game. The Auto Grabber automatically collects milk, wool, eggs, and other products from all of your animals, saving you labor time but preventing you from gaining the friendship points that normally accompany this activity. Friendship with animals improves the quality of their products, and the main way to increase friendship is by petting them daily. After the Auto Grabber was added, many fans were clamoring for an Auto Petter, a theoretical device that would pet the player's animals for them. This suggestion caused a schism, with many players saying this would destroy the animal-player bond. Some even said that an Auto Petter is something that only the evil Joja Corp would invent. But because petting has a tangible effect on the quality of your goods, it will always be instrumentalized and become a chore. The point is not that some farmers will treat their animals as pets and others as money printers, it's that the game mechanics require you to do both. By the way, fish is the only meat you're able to eat in the game. You can't slaughter your animals, even the pigs are only useful for digging up truffles. You could either read this as the game forcing you to extract resources from them in a more humane way, or as a cold calculation that the animals are more profitable to you on an ongoing basis. Either way, the interaction with your animals is sanitized, and they end up in a liminal zone between pets and products. This anecdote reveals that there is an anxiety about the degree of alienation we experience from the act of our own labor. This is Marx's second principle, as well as the reason Stardew Valley is so appealing as a game. Playing the game, we do not feel estranged. Rather, playing appears as an end unto itself. Isn't it curious that what in real life would be sweaty, back-breaking work has become a means of relaxation? We're drawn to perform this unalienated labor because it is not possible for us to feel so rooted to the earth in our day-to-day activities. We unwind from our day at the office by performing the real labor of mining and farming. Our labor and leisure are inverted. For Marx, what is animal becomes human, and what is human becomes animal. But if we look closer, even the leisure activities we pursue in the game have their own monetization. Look at how the television informs you that foraging berries can be profitable, or that fishing is a way to make money in your downtime. Like, isn't the whole game supposed to be my downtime? Now, in the downtime of my downtime, I'm still working. Perhaps saddest of all is this advertisement from the local fisherman who will pay you just to keep the art of fishing alive. You get to keep the fish, he says. This isn't even a transaction. He just knows that a monetary incentive is required for you to pursue his pastime. Everything we do is quantifiable in terms of the money it can make us, rather than for its intrinsic or immediate value. There are some things you can do with your goods besides selling them. You can donate them to the community center or gift them to the townsfolk. This brings us to Marx's final ways in which we are alienated, from our species being and from other people. Species being is a complicated concept. Basically, Marx's conception of the human is that of a productive being whose product should be the result of its free, conscious activity. Laboring to produce commodities for sale thus defiles our relationship to our own human character. But more important for our analysis is the estrangement of man from man. You can pursue friendships and romantic relationships with NPCs by giving them their favorite items or ones they've requested. This increases their friendship to you, represented by a number of filled-in hearts. Then, at certain intervals, heart events will take place, where you spend some one-on-one time together. Crucially, having enough hearts is what triggers the event. Quality time is thus a reward for your economic activity. There's a two-sidedness to how you can approach the town members that we can see literally with those who operate stores. If you come right up to the kiosk, you're offered a menu of purchases, but slink around behind the counter and you can speak with the person directly, even while they're working. Your relationship to them is cleaved in two by the sales counter, now a friend, then a customer. The only character in the entire town for whom this is not the case is this woman who works at Joja Mart. She has no name, no residence, and as far as I can tell, no lines of dialogue whatsoever. Unlike the others, she can only engage you in the language of commerce. She's one of the many examples of how Stardew Valley establishes a dichotomy between the soulless corporatism of Joja and the wholesome community feel of the town. Once you complete the community center by donating a range of goods, Joja abandons the town. But here again, the mechanisms of this renovation are quite abstract. When I complete the spring crops bundle, where does all the food go? Spirits make off with it and suddenly the whole state of the building is improved. The only explanation is that our supposedly unalienated labor carries some kind of magical, revitalizing energy. But if we return to Marx, the difference between Joja and the community center begins to blur. If you become a Joja member, the community center shuts down and you must purchase town improvements with money directly, instead of by completing bundles. The Joja route incentivizes pure profit rather than a diverse harvest, but as we've already seen, alienation and objectification are inherent to all of the work we endure on the farm, and to all of the relationships we pursue. There's no escaping it. Now there's one big objection I'm anticipating to all of this. You want to say, but this is just a game, and as a game it needs an incentive system and it necessarily must be somewhat abstract. Money is the perfect abstract yet universal system to drive player engagement, just like how human relationships are abstracted to the level of gift-giving. And to this I would say, I agree. But rather than allowing us to dismiss this Marxian economic critique, shouldn't we expand our scope to video games more broadly? I truly believe games are for the 21st century what cinema was to the 20th. we have penetrated further into the realm of the image and found ourselves enmeshed in logistical and algorithmic systems. Abstraction is a requisite feature of video games more than arguably any other art form, and interrogating a game's abstract features allows us to reveal its latent arguments. Stardew Valley is an outlet to soothe our modern malaise, but zoom in on the edges, and you can see the logic of capital beginning to creep in. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel. Every week I do one of these deep dives into media and theory, and I hope you'll stick around for more.